Hey team, so I just shot a brilliant live about the hero pricing model that we teach in our creative operator and our super successful programs. Unfortunately, I recorded the whole thing with no audio, so you have the pleasure of seeing it in high def with me sharing with you right now how to show ROI and how to create value and show the value of what you're doing to your clients. The biggest struggle that I hear creatives tell me, especially graphic designers, is how do I sell the value of brand strategy? Let me just kind of grab this over. Right, how do I sell the value of brand strategy is the one I hear a lot. My client says, I don't need that. My client says, I just want a logo. My client says, can we do that later? The problem is not the client not understanding what it is. It's you being able to show them the value in what it is you being able to connect the what it is with a business outcome for them. How do we do that? Well, if we don't do it, first and foremost, we do get exactly what I just talked about. We get pushback, we get delays, we get ghosting, we get half-finished projects and projects that we aren't as invested in because we know that the client needs more than just a visual. We know we'd love to spend half a day or a day with them strategizing and then kind of putting together something really solid that they can use and share with their staff, etc. But we haven't done our jobs right to get them across the line. Now, yes, some customers will see the value straight away and want to buy from you. But those types of customers are usually ones, in this case, who have invested before in a similar thing and see and understand what it is. A lot of your customers, especially in the earlier days, but also when you're more experienced as a freelancer and getting larger jobs, they're still not going to know what brand strategy is. Now, here's the thing. Some of your customers, just to touch on this briefly, the ones that you're going to have a challenge with are the ones that are problem aware, but they're not solution aware. So they know they've got a problem, but they don't know what the solution is, or they think the solution is just a logo. If you've got a customer who's problem aware and solution aware, then they know the problem is they're not seeing growth, and they know the solution is a strong brand with brand strategy, a rebrand, a brand refresh, or a brand new brand, a brand new brand to launch their startup into the market. Okay, but the problem is these ones here. So we need two things in order to get them across the line, and I'm going to explain a bit of context and then I'm going to show you our guide. Customers need two things. They need an emotional reason and a logical reason, and I'll explain the context of this in just a moment for you, but here's the important idea with this. The emotional reason is I want something that looks professional. I want something that I'm proud of. You know, if it's a logo, if it's a website, same diff, right? Excuse me. I like you. I like Hayden. He seems pretty trustworthy, even with his moustache he's wearing today. I like this person. I need this thing. I want this thing. But this is only really a want, right? And we have a problem when we lead conversations like a discovery call and we treat them like a sales call. We try and wow the customer with all these creative ideas we've got. Okay, they need a logical reason too. The logical reason is, how does this investment pay me back? How do I make or save money? How does this help me avoid a loss or make a gain? If they don't have this, then some customers will delay, some customers will push back, and some customers will just never work with you. Now, here's the thing. The context of this is a recent client that I worked with on this. This is an example, and then I'll show you how it works. They were around 6 to 7K for their brand identity jobs they were doing for customers, and we mapped it all out together, and we decided as a team that the projects needed to be around 12K to be profitable, at least. So around 12K. So they had a private educational provider come to them and say, we need a logo. We want to take ownership of our business. Things have changed in the business, and we want a logo that kind of represents us and what we're doing now. Now, it's the classic thing where someone comes to you with a logo and you go, I know they need more than a logo, but how do I get that across the line? So you would think, well, 6 to 7K would probably kind of do a logo justice, but my client knew that they needed more strategy behind it. So I'll explain how they did that in a minute, but they sold that project for 12K, which is the largest project they'd sold at that time, and it was all because they used our HERO pricing framework. So this works, and I'll explain what they uncovered in just a moment, so you can understand how they got to that point. By the way, they also sold an $18,000 project about 2 weeks after that. So how did they get to that point? Well, my client found out 2 core things about the client that they, the prospect, as it were, that they wanted to work with. Number one was that their core reason, well, there are a couple, but the core why behind the project, which is why we always talk about leading the conversation with the why and uncovering the why first, was that there was a competitor coming into the market, opening up, who, as it happened, had a similar target market to them, a similar ideology, and a similar ethos to the way they taught their children and cared for their children. You know, my kids go to Steiner, so if you know what kind of Steiner is, it's kind of, it wasn't a similar thing to Steiner, but you know, it would be like if there was a Steiner school and a similar school opened up in that town, and they had a similar ideology, which was different to most schools. So a competitor was coming. They were worried about that. They were worried about their staff as well. They were worried about losing great teachers to the competitor, or teachers losing interest in working with them. They found out that core why, but also the other thing they found out was that an average family paid $14,000 a year for their child to go to that school, as it were. Most families had 2 kids, so most families spent $28K a year with them. And then the icing on the top was that most children spent at least 3 years at that school. So what that worked out to be was about $42,000 per child lifetime value, as we call it. Now, how valuable would that information be if you were trying to sell them a $12,000 brand identity project that you knew could save them money, would help them attract more children, would help them avoid losing children to a new daycare or a new childcare provider, right? How valuable would that be if you could tell the client, hey, we're going to help you retain your children longer, we're going to help you retain your staff. That was a whole other issue, by the way, help you retain your staff longer. And on top of that, we're going to help you bring in more children into your private space, and you're going to make more money from this, because we know, and if you don't believe this, you shouldn't be selling it, that brand identity and brand strategy helps clients make money and it helps them save money. So that's the example. That's why this works. That's the proof that it works. Let's talk about the how. Let's talk about the worksheet. Okay. So this is the model that we teach our clients in our Creative Operator and our super successful coaching programs, which I love. And we work with some really great people. They're all action takers. They're all driven, and they get great results. How do we do the HERO pricing framework? Number one, what is the important problem that you can solve? What is the problem that is deeper than just, I want this thing? That's deeper than the emotional. What's the logical reason that the customer would work with you and work with you now? What data do I need to gather to build an ROI equation? It could be average customer spend. It could be lifetime value. It could be how they're generating leads, how many leads are coming in, by the way, if you're selling them a website, and you can help them with the SEO side of things and things to make the website more more efficient and kind of bring in more leads and convert more leads, etc. This is an important one. Find a loss or a gain. What's the loss or the gain if they work with you? What are they going to gain? What do they lose if they don't do anything? It's important to get down to this stuff, because do you know what it does? It separates you from every other creative who's trying to sell them just based on what it is. We can do this beautiful looking brand identity for you, which will mean that you feel more confident in the market, that people recognize you more, ... It's all surface level stuff. It's all tip of the iceberg stuff. We're getting deep here, and this is important when you're selling at least, I would say, 3K projects and up. Last thing you want to do is present your solution so it aligns with solving their problem and you show the ROI. Here's 3 key points, and I'm going to show you 2 models on how to use this. There must be a clear loss or gain in order to show the value to break the status quo. Remember, your customers are quite happy to do nothing. They're quite happy to postpone or do something cheaper or do a half solution now and muck you around in the future when they realize that it's not going to give them what they want. Brand identity is only one part of a larger machine for the client, but you must focus their mind on the solution you're presenting. What does that mean? Well, I've heard a lot of clients say, I don't know if I could use this because I can't control their marketing or their delivery or whatever. That's fine. You're focusing on what you're selling right now. If they get that right, that's one more thing they don't have to worry about. Remember, working with you is an investment and a calculated risk. This is important when you're thinking about ROI, because you don't want to guarantee anything, because you can't. No matter how many people tell you you can guarantee this, or I will take a percentage of what you make, you can't guarantee that. You just have to make it clear to them that you estimate, and from previous experience, you can pretty much take a strong, educated guess that they're going to make that money back. In my client's example, once again, they could save or add 14K a month, a year to their business at least, or 28K if there was 2 kids in that family. Because if you can do all this, by the way, what happens is all of a sudden your 12K job doesn't seem so heavy. Your 12K job isn't 12K loss right now, 12K I'm spending with nothing in return. All of a sudden, you flip it, and all of a sudden the cost of their problem, which in this case was 14K at least per year they could lose, 28K in most cases, if those families go elsewhere, is much heavier than the 12K solution. Once you've done this, 2 ways to think about it. You can use this to validate what you're charging, or you can use this and actually truly base on value and work out how much you could make and show them that. And in most cases, people will charge at least 10% of the potential ROI. The potential ROI is 100K. You could potentially charge 10K for that job. Last thing I want to show you, how to calculate the value of brand. Cost of your client's problem times frequency is potential loss. Cost of the potential win, the client's potential win times 12 months is the potential gain. How do we do this? Number 1, we need an unresolved business issue. A competitor's coming in. We're not out in the market. We're not doing enough external marketing or putting ourselves out there on social platforms, for example. And we're worried about the competitor who's going to be doing that or has already started doing that. Number 2, how's that affecting their business? Logically and emotionally. By the way, this sounds like a lot, but it's all about the questions you ask, and that's a big part of what we teach in our program. So this will give you a bit about the how and the high level, but if you like this idea and you want to implement it in your business, I know that implementing this one idea will give you an ROI on our program, in most cases within the first 30 days at least, so easily. So if you want to find out about this and you liked what I taught you today, by all means just send me a DM and you can inquire about our program, and we'll see if it could be good for you and if you're good for us. So the last thing we need to do is how much those problems are costing them, or the word here is also potentially going to cost them. In my client's case, well, on the low end, it's 14K a year. On the high end, well, That's a lot of money over the lifetime value of a kid, right? I think it was about 42k over 3 years they could lose. But then we didn't even talk about, by the way, the cost to hire new staff, the cost of losing staff, which is all things that are directly affected by, and we all know this, by how well you communicate your mission and vision and what's going on in your business to your staff. Because staff are harder to find now, and especially with millennials, we know that they need a purpose to connect with. They need something more than just a good paycheck. So the hero pricing model is an amazing way for you to show the value of brand strategy, show the value of brand identity, show the value of whatever it is you do without having to educate them, without having to explain stuff, and really helps you to put it in the context of their business. And this is why when our clients use this, it positions them as consultants and not as freelancers. It positions them as someone who understands business and not just a clever creative mind. If we can kill our creative, kill it with our creative output, we can kill it with our business acumen and our business conversations, you'll smash everyone else, because most people don't do this, okay? And I'm not saying you should smash people, but what I'm saying is it'll give you a leg up and a real edge on other people out there who aren't doing this, okay? And remember, you need everything you can to push clients past the status quo and get them to work with you. Lower the risk, use the hero pricing model. If you want that worksheet, leave a comment below with worksheet. This is a full-on epic training, so it's a whole 17 minutes, so I hope you watch it to the end. If you did, good on you. And the prize for watching it to the end is, if you're struggling with your pricing and you want to have a catch up with me, send me a DM after you read this, and I'll jump on the phone with you for 20 minutes, and I'll look at your pricing and I'll give you some ideas around how you could improve it, and some ideas around some recent clients you worked with, and some prospects you might be about to work with, so you can get a good plan going to your next sales interview. So if you watched till the end, congratulations. Send me a DM and I'll give you a hand as a bonus for watching this. So thanks for watching. If you want the guide, comment guide below. If you want to catch up with me, send me a DM after you read this, and see you next time in the group. See ya.